Good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. You know the drill. Before we get into the video, like, share, and subscribe. It is very much appreciated. Let's get right into it. This is a couple of interesting tweets here that I wanted to share first and foremost. We know that higher pressure is now starting to exert its influence on the UK and Ireland, and it looks as if we could have a rather reasonably warm end to what has been a rather chilly June overall. Now, Shrine Bruin here posted this, always providing very interesting information from Dublin, Ireland. But Shrine recently posted this saying that a fortnight to go, but will June 2024 be the first drier than average month for England and Wales in 12 months. Last June was the most recent drier than average month, though January was basically average at just over the 100% level. So that's quite interesting considering that we've had a full 12 months where the last time it was firmly below average rainfall wise was actually last June. So I thought it's quite incredible actually when you think about that this has the potential to be the driest month since last June for England and Wales anyway. And there is the potential for that. If we look at the CFSV2 here for the next couple of weeks, certainly helps if I get to the right chart, but my mindset always changes actually midway through doing these videos. This is the next 7 days according to the CFSV2. So this is the period between the 18th and the 25th of June, and it's showing pretty much firmly drier than average across the majority of the UK and Ireland here, with the exceptions of the south coast. You can see here a swathe of fairly heavy rainfall compared to average across northwestern Iberia and right up the spine of France into the heart of Europe here. Drier than average northwest, drier than average across the southeast. And then as we move through the final days of June into the month of July, we've got drier than average as well. And I think June is running drier than average. So that could well be the case that we see the driest month for England and Wales since last June. Another interesting tweet here shown by JW showing that as of the 13th of June, the CET had a mean of 20.9 Celsius. So this was last June, sorry. 13th of June last year had a mean CET or Central England temperature of 20.9, the warmest on record for that date. June 13th this year had a mean CET of 9.9, the coldest for the date since 1978, and the first sub 10 Celsius June day since all the way back to the 9th of June 2015. So again, another interesting little fact with regards to the contrast between this June and last June. And we continue to see this chilly flavour of weather dominate, but I think it's living on very much borrowed time. Another interesting tweet here by Shrine showing updating the temperature threshold table for the UK. This is the first day of each year since 2003 that particular threshold was reached in 2024, has been relatively late so far. So a threshold of 27 Celsius. So last year was seen, the first 27 Celsius was the earliest since 2018. So it's June 17th and still no 28 Celsius. So it was still to hit 28 Celsius this year so far, which is relatively late. So Shrine goes on to say, of course, now for the latest 28 Celsius, you have to go back to 2016, which was probably not beaten, as that was absurdly late for the modern climate. And that was not achieved till the 18th of July, though not as ridiculous 2007. And some warmer weather is in store for late June. So we've yet to hit 28 Celsius. I think we may have a run at that during the final days of June. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that as we go forward. But certainly it's no great shakes with regards to the temperature for the UK today. We do have low 20s incidentally in the southeast corner, but up across the northwest, temperatures are barely getting into double figures. Loch Scarnock did creep up to 10.4 Celsius this afternoon, but it's now back down to 9.8 Celsius with a wind chill of 6.7. Up at Wick in Caithness, we've only got 10.6 with a wind chill of 7. And then there is a reasonable contrast across even Scotland, where we've got Glasgow Airport currently reading 19 Celsius, so relatively pleasant and even slightly above average. So we've got firmly below average at around 4 below normal in the Northwest Highlands. We've got probably a degree or two above average in the central lowlands of Scotland. Then as you get into the south of Scotland, we've only got 15s and 16s, no great shakes. Even across the north of England, parts of Wales, look at this, we've only got 11 Celsius, albeit we're at 360 metres above sea level. Even across Northern Ireland, Loch Fay, only 11.2, elevation 225 metres above sea level. And all the way down to the south of Ireland here, even down at Johnstown Castle, we've only got 13.2 Celsius this afternoon, and quite widespread across Wales, 13 or 14 Celsius. Down towards Cardiff, you can see here a temperature of around just below 19 Celsius. But yeah, the warmest conditions in the UK is generally west or southwest of the London area, down towards Portsmouth and Southampton. But certainly we continue with this rather chilly flavour of weather. And then even as you move onto the continent, we've got some fairly warm conditions across the majority of the continent. We do have an area of low pressure. We'll look at that in just a second, just off the Iberian Peninsula. So therefore we've got slightly cooler conditions across the west. We've got warm conditions to hot conditions in the east of Spain. France seeing a bit of a contrast. We've only got 16, 17 Celsius in the north coast. We've got 33 Celsius down to the southeast near the French Riviera. We've got some fairly warm conditions across the majority of mainland Europe, with the hottest conditions arguably down across Greece and Turkey, where it has been rather hot in recent times. Looking at the current visible satellite image here, you can see that we've still got a bit of a northerly component to our flow moving in from the north, and we've got this little curl here just off the Portuguese coast that is allowing the chillier conditions across the west of Iberia. Here we've got a flow coming in off the Atlantic, but then east of this frontal system we've got some very warm to hot conditions here. Looking at the latest radar over the UK, you can see here speckled shower activity across particularly the northern half of the UK. We've got an area of more organised rain clipping the Kent area into Sussex, I would say, and across the kind of northeast France into Belgium. We've got some very heavy, probably thundery rain. This is the current overview chart here. If I get to it, there's the chilly air mass here. So these are the 850 temperatures of the GFS, representing that still chilly feed of air. High pressure to the west, low pressure to the east. That has been quite the dominant upper air setup in recent times. So this is the current overview. Like I say, there's that area of high pressure that is going to exert more influence and dominance on the UK Ireland pattern as we go through the next week or so, 10 days. It's going to be high pressure that dominates. I would say there's that area of low pressure cut off from the main jet just to the west of Iberia, with heavy precipitation in the western side of the peninsula. We've got this feature here generating heavy persistent thundery rains far southeastern England and across northeastern France, through Belgium, through southeastern Netherlands, and into the north and central areas of Germany here. Got some fairly unsettled conditions with low pressure over Scandinavia. This is probably the same low that dominated the UK pattern back during the course of the weekend here. So let me see here. In terms of rainfall, this is a rather dry looking outlook through the majority of the rest of June, in fact. Arctic Oscillation, North Atlantic Oscillation is going positive. I explained in a lot of detail in recent times the reasons behind this big change taking place across the entire Northern Hemisphere. It's not just Western Europe or Europe that's seeing this change. We're seeing the change ripple across the Northern Hemisphere pattern. This is rainfall, total accumulated precipitation seen by the GFS operational between now and the end of this work week. And you notice here the UK and the majority of Ireland is generally fairly dry looking, with the exceptions of the far southeast corner of the UK. We've got a system here over the near continent, as already explained. So notice here a relatively lack of rainfall between now and the end of this work week. Let's skip ahead to the end of next week. So this is all the way out to Friday the 20th. And again, there's not a real much change. Speaking about, you've got heavy precipitation to the northwest, with low pressure becoming much more dominant in the North Atlantic. As these areas of low pressure then ride that big boundary between very hot air over the northeastern United States and relatively cooler air across central and northern Canada, that's then firing up the jet. As I said in yesterday's video, the return of the westerlies, but that is pumping the high to the south and to the southeast of this storm track. And that storm track is going to set its anchor up over the North Atlantic up into Iceland. We're going to see one area of low pressure after another. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be high and dry, and Scotland is going to just be in Mediterranean-like conditions for the next week to 10 days. We are going to see frontal systems flirt with the northwest corner of the UK, but notice the GFS is not really that bullish on sending anything significantly wet into the northwest, which means it's indicating the jet stays largely to the north of the mainland here. And then look at the amount of precipitation again over the heart of Europe. We've got more heavy rains to speak about, especially down in the flood-stricken areas of Bavaria and southern portions of Germany, and down into Austria. We're going to see more flooding potential with this overall pattern. This has been a very, very tough several weeks across the heart of Europe, and it looks as if that is going to maintain itself through the remainder of this month. So let's have a look and see the pattern shift overall. So this is the 850 temperatures. This gives us a better handle on the type of air masses that we're likely to be dealing with. You can see here that we continue to have the relatively fresh conditions feeding in from the north across the northern UK. Slightly less colder at 850 over the far south, and therefore we've seen the temperatures responding. Now notice here this warm air over the central North Atlantic. What's going to happen is, as the jet fires up out of Canada across the North Atlantic, this warmer air is going to then start to kind of push its way towards the British Isles here, and higher pressure is going to become much more dominant. As the trough digs into the North Atlantic here, that means that we're going to start to pick up this warm, humid air from the Azores and throw it towards the UK and Ireland. There's that very, very hot air now getting pushed eastwards over Canada, over the eastern half of the United States, where record-breaking warm temperatures are dominant through the rest of this week. So we continue to play through. You can see here the area of low pressure winding up to the northwest of the British Isles. And then, as you can see here, we are starting to pick up on some of this real decent warmth. Not the reds, not the 20 plus Celsius isotherm at 850. That is not moving into the UK and Ireland. But certainly this is a warmer pattern and a very different pattern to what we've seen so far this year. And then we flirt with something even warmer, the 15 Celsius isotherm, flirting with the southwest corner of the UK by the time we reach Monday the 1st of July. Looking at the temperature prospects according to the GFS here, we'll play through this loop, and you can see here the relatively cool conditions dominating the northern half of the UK, slightly less so across the south. Over the next few days, look at how warm Europe is. There is areas of slightly cooler conditions, but there is also some fairly hot conditions, especially across Italy, the Balkan region, down into Turkey here. And then as we continue to play, it would actually help if I go the right direction. Let's continue to play through the next several days, and you start to see these yellows and oranges now become a lot more extensive across the majority of the UK and Ireland here. We are likely to be talking temperatures into the mid-20s. Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, Wales, we could be creeping into the upper 20s, as we progress through the course of next week here. So you notice here, by the time we reach 12Z Wednesday of next week, we're talking about temperatures, slightly fresher conditions. If you notice here in the far north here, it depends on wind direction, it depends on the presence of a nearby front. Cloud cover is going to be a big issue as well, potentially across the far north. But it looks as if we are starting to exert much more warmth all the way up across the UK and Ireland. Notice here at 24 over the heart of the Republic of Ireland. By next Thursday, we've got temperatures approaching 40 in Spain. We've got temperatures probably approaching the mid 30s in parts of southern France and across the Mediterranean basin as we progress through the course of next week and the final days of the month. Notice here we've got 24s, 25s quite widely across England and Wales during the course of next Friday. Long way off, I know that, but we're now starting to see the models hinting at some very warm to even hot conditions as we push through the final days of this month here. So it will be interesting to see just how warm we may or may not get here in the UK, but certainly nonetheless, it is a rather interesting final week to 10 days of the month of June. So let's finally look at the temperature anomalies seen by the CFSV2. Upcoming 7 days, again, we're still flirting with below average conditions in parts of the UK and Ireland here, Western Iberia versus the East, and nothing particularly significantly warm between the 18th and the 25th of June. Then as we move into the period 25th through the 2nd of July, we're seeing above average temperatures across the UK. But notice it's warmer than average, but not significantly warmer than average. But I do think that we may push 27, possibly 28 in the south of the UK by the time we reach the final days of the month. So we'll keep an eye on this right here in Vogan Weather on YouTube here and see how this pattern evolves. I do think there's going to be bumps in the road, so to speak, but I also think that we are going to see the chance of some pushes of fairly substantial warmth, certainly given what we've seen so far this month. 27, 28 Celsius would certainly be substantial warmth for this year at least. Finally, let's have a very, very quick sneak peek, and we're going to look at this in a bit more detail hopefully tomorrow. Let's have a look at the NMME model for the month of June, and it's looking rather interesting, by the way. This is the temperature anomalies of the model here for the month of July, and you can actually see that the model is I actually thought it was showing average conditions. It's actually showing above average conditions. I've actually mucked up here, and I've slightly embarrassed myself because I've looked at the month of June and I've seen it showing close to average conditions, but it was June rather than July. But it's showing basically warmer than average conditions for the month of July. Let's look at the precipitation of the model here and see what it's indicating. And it's indicating actually a drier than average June overall. Let's have a look quickly at the CFSV2 and see what it's showing for the month of July here real quick. Just out of interest, I've not actually looked at this, but yet it's a contrast to the NMME, which is actually showing wetter than average conditions. How's it looking in terms of temperature anomaly? My suspicion would be warmer than average. Yes, that is the case, and let's finally look at the upper air for the July period, and it's indicating above average heights across the majority of the UK. We've got a sneaky kind of nondescript higher or lower across the south. It's as if it's indicating some sort of a lower or height field over the Bay of Biscay, which may provide thundery conditions moving into the south of the UK. So, but nonetheless, rather interesting stuff. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope you can like the video, let YouTube and myself know that you're enjoying the content, share with your friends and family, and if you haven't already done so and you've enjoyed today and you're enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Bye for now.